Hey everyone, this is Laura Gadenik with Laura Gadenik Astrology, and I'm here to give you the astrology for the weeks of November 28th through December 11th, 2022. First, I want to remind you all that liking and commenting on this video will help my channel grow. And if you get anything from this content, also please consider subscribing. And also, I do astrology readings, so if you want to give someone a gift for the holidays, I think an astrology reading is a really good gift, especially to help your loved ones know what's kind of coming up in the next year in 2023. So I'm running 15% off all of my readings, so please consider going and checking out my website at lauragadenik.com. Okay, so let's get started. On Monday, November 28th, which is today, the day that I'm doing this video, Mars, which is currently retrograde, is making a trine to Saturn. Trines are supportive, easeful aspects. Aspects are how the planets relate to one another, and there are 5 total aspects. There's trines, oppositions, sextiles, conjunctions, and squares. I think I didn't mention that one. So trines are 120 degrees between two planets, and they're easeful and provide opportunity. And Mars is a planet about action, and Saturn is a planet that is about commitment and discipline and sustainability. So this is a moment of being able to be productive and get things done. The moon is also in Aquarius with Saturn today and part of tomorrow as well. The moon is our emotions, our mood. So there might be, that kind of adds to this like feeling of being able to get things done and focus on productivity. Moon and Saturn together can also feel a bit harsh or kind of lonely or difficult, or there might be, feelings of isolation. So it's also a good idea to reach out to others if you can. And, there might be limits to your emotional energy. So keeping that in mind and taking care of your body and yourself as well. On Tuesday the 29th and then Wednesday the 30th, Mercury and Venus, which are traveling very closely together in the sign of Sagittarius, they're making an opposition to Mars in Gemini, which once again is retrograde. So Mercury is the planet of the mind and communication. Venus is a planet about connection and relationships. And Mars is not only a planet about action and doing things, but also conflict and how we fight. And so this might be a moment of conflict or friction in relationships. So you might be talking through something and, it might be good on the one hand to bring things up. Mercury in Sagittarius in particular is really good at kind of speaking the truth or speaking one's mind. However, sometimes, Mercury in Sagittarius, especially opposite Mars, can be a bit cutting with words, and there could be potentially some damage done. So just being mindful about what you let slip out of your mouth. And if you are wanting to resolve conflict, using I statements is really useful. So like, I feel blank when you do this, or, kind of keeping judgment out of the conversation. Venus can help soften this. Venus wants to connect, wants to help unite. So I think Venus might be helpful, but there might just be some kind of pokey conversations or comments. And I would also encourage you to, or everyone to think about what story they're attaching to what someone might say to you. So someone might say something to you and you might take it the wrong way, or perhaps don't be reactive. Maybe think about like, oh, well, did they really mean it in that way? Or, is there potentially another meaning to what they said? So just kind of questioning your own thoughts about what is happening and what the meaning is. So that's Tuesday the 29th and Wednesday the 30th. On Thursday, December 1st, Mercury in Sagittarius makes a square to Neptune. Squares are of the nature of Mars. They're a bit more conflict oriented. They're 90 degrees between two planets. this really feels like a Mercury retrograde moment. Mercury in Sagittarius is already in a sign that it's kind of is at odds with. Like, Mercury is a planet that likes to get into the details and dissect and you know, plan. And Sagittarius is more of a big picture, visionary oriented sign. So they kind of have two separate or like two opposing goals as planet and sign. So and then Neptune is a planet that likes to, especially with harsh aspect, either with an opposition or a square, Neptune can confuse or overwhelm, make things foggy or unclear. So this feels like a moment of potentially confusion, miscommunication, mishaps, things not working out. You know, there might be a need that you have to escape in some way, and I would encourage you to do that, you know, in a healthy way, like get lost in a book or a movie or meditation. You know, this is a good moment to talk philosophy or like the meaning of life or your big goals and dreams, things like that. And then on Saturday, December 3rd, Neptune stations direct. So whenever a planet stations direct, it's slowing way down to start moving forwards again. So this Neptune's been retrograding, moving backwards in the sky for several months. So now it's going to slow down and start moving forwards again. So Neptune pulls focus, and therefore so do our dreams, our visions, what we glamorize, what, you know, Neptune is that thing that like looks way greener on the other side of the grass, and which is why it can sometimes be a planet about illusion. But we all need dreams to kind of edge, you know, kind of push us towards what we want to do with our lives. So Sunday, December 4th, Venus then makes this square to Neptune. So Venus, once again, a planet about love and relationships and connection and beauty, and you know, Neptune being this very like dreamy illusion kind of planet. This can be really romantic, kind of dreamy, if you are in a relationship, or, you know, you have a lover or something. This might be like a really romantic, dreamy time with that person. There is potential for seeing people through rose-colored glasses, which, you know, sometimes is really great. It can really add to that level of romance. But on the other hand, sometimes it's not great when we're putting people up on a pedestal, not seeing them clearly, having false expectations and getting disappointed. So this is also an aspect that relates to sometimes disappointment, disillusionment, a sense of longing or yearning for something that we might not have or that feels like just out of grasp. So it could be either of those kinds of experiences. I would say find someone you love to spend time with and kind of get lost in some way, you know, like get lost, don't keep track of time if you can, and let your day like go with the flow with your day. And then on Tuesday, December 6th, and then later in the week, the following week, Mercury and Venus will then make a square to Jupiter in Pisces, and Jupiter rules the sign of Pisces. Jupiter is associated with Pisces, and so, you know, because of that, because Jupiter is in the sign that it rules and in the sign where Neptune is, I wonder also if the square from Mercury to Neptune and Venus to Neptune might be more of the positives rather than the more challenging, but we'll find out. So yeah, Tuesday, December 6th, Mercury in Sagittarius makes a square to Jupiter in Pisces. Even though this is a square, once again, a more tense aspect, a 90-degree angle between two planets, Mercury is in a sign that Jupiter rules. Jupiter also rules Sagittarius, and Jupiter rules Pisces. So it's like Mercury is getting a lift up by Jupiter. It's kind of like when, you know, if a planet is in a sign and is making aspect with the ruler of that sign, it's kind of like that planet is a guest in that other planet's house. And so they get all of the kind of, guest privileges. So it's kind of like a good thing, actually. So this feels, really uplifting, optimistic. This feels like optimistic thinking, hearing some good news potentially, perhaps having insight into an opportunity, a sense of growth or wanting to grow towards something. And then later in the evening on December 6th, Mercury heads into Capricorn, which it'll be in Capricorn for a while because Mercury is going to retrograde here later. Let's see, I can find out when that is. Mercury will retrograde in Capricorn December 29th. And so then it's going to stay in Capricorn until February 12th. So we're going to have quite some time with Mercury in Capricorn. And it's interesting because Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde in Capricorn at 24 degrees of Capricorn, which is where Mercury retrograded back to last year in January, or in January of 2022. So, and at the same time, 24 degrees of Capricorn is 2 degrees away where Venus stationed retrograde last year. So Venus stationed retrograde at 26 degrees of Capricorn. I think it was last December of 2021. Let me just check. Yeah, it was December 19th of 2021. So it feels like this Mercury retrograde is going to be echoing things that happened last year with Mercury and Venus having been retrograde in Capricorn. So that was like thinking back to last year, December, January, February. And I'll get more into detail with this in the next video, but just kind of know that this Mercury retrograde is happening. Retrogrades are all about review, reflection, going back over something, potentially to do something again, or to put pieces in place that weren't there before, or to find out information that was missing before. So yeah, just thinking back to last December of 2021, January and February of 2022, that time frame, what was going on for you in the Capricorn part of your chart. We're getting a little bit of an echo here, another review. Mercury in Capricorn is a more serious placement for Mercury. It's, Capricorn is a winter sign, so there's a sense of thinking ahead, thinking about what will last, of sustainability. So Mercury in Capricorn is definitely kind of more thinking about the long haul. And then Wednesday, December 7th, the Sun makes an opposition to Mars retrograde. So this is kind of echoing themes from the week before when Venus and Mercury made this opposition to Mars. So it might just be kind of the same story, whatever kind of started up this week with Venus and Mercury opposing Mars, the Sun opposing Mars might just be kind of a continuation or kind of a wrap up. So, but still there's this sense of maybe feeling a bit combative or irritable, might be more willing to get in a fight, to kind of fight for what you believe or what you think. Sagittarius, where the Sun is a sign about beliefs and what we have faith in. So, this feels kind of like debatey, like getting into a intense debate with someone. But there's also an element of courage here with with the Sun opposing Mars, having the courage to stand up for something, to kind of speak your truth. The one thing I would just caution is, once again, speaking your truth to the point of being too cutting or getting into conflict where it's not worth it. So just kind of consider that as Wednesday the 7th approaches, and you might be feeling that more irritable, combative energy. But once again, it might be that something needs to come out, right? That's what these kinds of aspects are useful for, is kind of clearing the air. So Friday the 9th, Venus in Sagittarius makes a square to Jupiter in Pisces. These are the two benefics. Venus and Jupiter bring good things, bring hope and joy. This feels like celebratory good vibes. And this is a really beautiful moment for relationships in particular. and for healing, perhaps healing of kind of those sticky, spicy moments from a couple days before or the week before as Venus and Mercury opposed Mars. So this feels like a good time for a good time. Venus and Jupiter, they're just so good together. And especially when Venus is in Sagittarius, a sign that Jupiter rules. Jupiter is the lord of Sagittarius, and so this is feels especially yummy and delicious. And then later in the day, Venus heads into Capricorn once again, where she retrograded last year. So as Venus travels through Capricorn, we might once again hear echoes of themes from Venus and Mercury from last year. So once again, I'll get into that in the next video. But please like, subscribe, comment on this video. Once again, reach out for readings if you're interested. I'm open all December. And otherwise, I look forward to giving you the astrology for the next 2 weeks, in 2 weeks' time. And I hope you have a... I almost forgot. There is a full moon, I think, on the 7th of... Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot that. Just the 7th of December. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Forgot about that. Full moon on Wednesday the 7th, as the sun is opposing Mars. The moon will be conjoined with Mars in Gemini. So that kind of feels like a bigger moment of something coming to light with regards to something conflictual, something that might put you at odds with someone, or something that you maybe didn't know was there, or maybe you did and you're kind of letting it all out. But full moons can be intense energy. You know, they can be a bit chaotic. Literally the word lunatic comes from lunar, comes from the idea of the moon. And like full moons bring out a lot of energy and can make things feel really big. So this is going to exasperate this sun opposite Mars aspect. So just, yeah, be cautionary. And it might be that something needs to explode, needs to kind of like come out, right, and be talked about. But we can do so kindly. We can do so with compassion, using communication skills, using nonviolent language, non-judgmental language. Once again, going back to those I statements. I feel, or I felt this way when this happened, or when you did this. That keeps it very non-judgmental. So yeah, totally forgot about that, but that's actually a really big moment, a really kind of more important full moon, because it also gives us more information about what this Mars retrograde is about for you in particular. And of course, this is going to depend on where Gemini and Sagittarius are in your chart, what houses are being highlighted, because that will be the kinds of themes that are going to come to illumination or come to full light. So anyway, I wanted to just mention that before ending this video. But I hope you all have a lovely couple of weeks, and I'll be back soon for the next astrology update. And please reach out with any questions, concerns, comments. If you want a reading, you can even leave a comment. My website is lauragadenic.com, and look forward to seeing you all again soon. Bye.